My name is Derek Lytle. A seller business analyst is my job title. What that really means is it's similar to a project manager. I take a seller cradle to grave. It is my only project. It is the one thing that I'm solely responsible for. They hired me about 2.5 years ago to start working on some of the stuff that we wanted to improve, some of the stuff we wanted to integrate outside, so on and so forth. But this is one that we've wanted for a long time. We finally got it. We're pretty excited about it. I don't work for Acela. So just to clarify that, I'm not an Acela employee. I work for the county, which means I work for you. Anything that you need for Acela or from Acela, I'm here to answer questions. I'm here to take improvements. We're here to make the system better. And that's, again, solely what I do. The most important thing about this brief, I'll call it a brief, this class, the most important thing that I can say is this phone number right here. It's in red. Take it down. It's going to be this class will be up on our slide or on our website. The trifold has it. Our business cards are going to have it. The poster's going to have it. But this phone number is the number that you text, and this is live currently. You can currently go in and text this phone number based on the way that I'm going to show you in this class to schedule inspections, look up permit information, look up previous results, so on and so forth. Any questions so far on what we're doing and why we're doing it? Just to reiterate what Matt said, this is not a replacement for Acela Citizens Access. This is another tool in your kit so that you can schedule inspections faster. The goal here was so that we reduce the number of phone calls into the office. That doesn't mean don't call. It doesn't mean use this instead. It means if you know how to use this versus calling. But Acela Citizens Access on the computer is always going to be better and always going to give you more information. So the first thing that I wanted to go over is who can schedule inspections and how they schedule inspections. Then I'll go through how to do it on SelecTXT. So as far as who can schedule inspections, and a lot of people get this kind of confused because it's not necessarily the most intuitive thing in the world. But when you create a permit, and I'm hoping that most of you know how to use the Acela Citizens Access, or at least you have before. When you create a permit on Acela Citizens Access, you always have a contact, right? It makes you create a contact before you can go anywhere forward after you put in your address. Most people put that contact as the applicant, and it's usually yourself. Sometimes that's your general contractor, sometimes it's a subcontractor, sometimes you have an employee in the front office who does it, right? But typically, that applicant is who you use as a contact. Any person or any of these choices that you use as a contact can schedule inspections. So what the system looks for is it looks for phone numbers and email addresses that are associated to the contact, any of the licensed professionals that you put on that record, and the homeowner, okay? If you're not one of those three people, the system will not look for you to schedule inspections. To include SelecTXT, what it'll do is it'll take your phone number and it'll tell you that, hey, that phone number is not associated to the record. Please enter a phone number. I'll get more into that in just a minute. But there's one more way to do that. Let's say you're a subcontractor working under a GC. Your GC can use what's called the additional user authorization form that I'm going to display on the screen, and I'll show you on the website how to get to it. If you want to use that, what that does is that permanently puts somebody under your license so that their phone number and their email address will be associated to your license so that they can create permits and schedule inspections. So just to kind of reiterate, contacts, professionals, and homeowners are people that can schedule inspections. SelecTXT that I'm going to show you follows the same logic as Acela Citizens Access. All the same rules. So those same people can schedule inspections through SelecTXT as they can online. Those same people can create permits on Acela Citizens Access. And then also through SelecTXT, the other things that it follows is timelines. We all know that we can't schedule inspections for same day. They're next day inspections. You don't get to choose your time. You choose next day or you choose your date. It's going to choose all day for you, right? All those same things are associated in this too. Results notifications that I'll get into a little bit later as well. Those follow the same principles as Acela already does. So whenever you get a notification from an inspection being completed or a result, it's going to follow the same timeline. We're not going to text you or email you after 7:30 at night or before 7 o'clock in the morning. If one of our inspectors, for whatever reason, decides to result in an inspection after 7:30 at night, you'll get that text the next day. Does that make sense? Okay. The next slide, this is our associated user form. That, again, I'm going to show you how to get to it online. But if you're not familiar with that, this form is a form that you have to get notarized, get it sent in, and it gives you instructions up here on what email address to send it to for the county so that they can process that, get your subcontractors or whoever you would like associated to your license so they can schedule inspections. And I'll show you how to get to it online. Before I go forward, is there any questions on who can schedule inspections and how to allow them to schedule inspections? Anybody on Teams? Okay, so for SelecTXT, the meat and potatoes is what we're trying to get into. SelecTXT for Cabarrus County, we customized it a little bit to help us do some of the things that we know y'all do more than other counties, right? So we tailored it to our process to allow you to do 5 things all from your cell phone. It's going to allow you to schedule new inspections, cancel or reschedule existing inspections. It'll allow you to look up results of previous inspections on permits, and it's going to allow you to look up your permit information if all you know is your address. Now, as you're going to find out that your permit number is very important. We can't harp on that enough to know your permit number. A lot of contractors, a lot of professionals don't. They tend to rely on just the address. We created a feature that'll allow you to look up your permit by just using the address that I'll show you how. But as you get into this process, knowing your permit number will allow you to do this very, very fast. The process for any of these take at most 8 text messages, but there is an express feature as well. That express feature, if you can see right here in the example for scheduling an inspection, if you type S, your record number, the 3-digit code that I'm going to also explain a little bit later, and the date, that allows you to skip 5 text messages. You get this done in 4 text messages. The only difference for the express text when it gets to scheduling to the other ones, instead of the S, you're going to do C for cancel, R for reschedule, reschedule for reschedule, R for results, but there is no express for lookup. Does that make sense? Okay. I'll dig into how to schedule these. I'll dig into all 5 commands at this point. So to schedule an inspection, this is me right here texting to schedule inspections. So this is my phone texting. It was a test number because these records aren't real, but same process for you. You text that number up there at the top right corner. This is exactly how it's going to work. You start out with schedule. It's going to give you automated prompts to walk you through the system. Okay. It's going to ask you first what your permit number is. Again, if you don't know your permit number, you're going to have to hit end to start all over and then go to lookup to find your permit number. If you do it through here, you can find your permit number on almost anything that the ladies from county have sent you. You can find your permit number on a Citizens Access. All those things have your permit number. If you don't, you use the lookup feature here to get it. Add your permit number, and right here's where you're going to find the first problem that you could possibly run into. When you type in that permit number, if your cell phone is not on that record, then it will tell you, hey, this number is not allowed to schedule inspections. Please enter a phone number that is. Okay? That's, again, one of those people on the contacts, the applicant, the homeowner, or the licensed professional. So let's say I'm the GC, my license is what we use for this permit. But Matt Love is one of my subs, and he's out there on the job site. He wants to schedule an inspection. As long as Matt Love knows my phone number, as long as your subcontractor knows the cell phone number of your GC, it will allow them to validate using that phone number and say, okay, cool. You at least know their number, so they trust you. Go ahead and schedule the inspection. So it'll allow you to do it if you are associated to the record or if you know their phone number. It will let you bypass that process. The very next thing is it validates, hey, this is the address that you're trying to do this on. Is that correct? If it is, enter the 3-digit code for the inspection you want to do. You have a list of the 3-digit codes on the trifold, and again, I'll show them to you later on. But as you start to know these codes, you type in that 3-digit code and it starts the process. Let's say you don't, you type the word list, and when you hit list, it's going to show you the exact list of codes for the exact inspections that are allowed for that record type. Because as we know, commercial pools, residential pools are different. Commercial and residential are different altogether, right? Deck's different than a pool. We have different inspections, marriage walls, for example, You're not going to be, it's not going to allow you to do that on certain record types, if that makes sense. So it's limited to just the lists that apply to you. So if you type list, it's going to show you, hey, these inspections, these codes, which one do you want? Type that 3-digit code in. It's going to say, what date would you like? You can type your date and go ahead and put that slash in there too. 0712, whatever it is. Put the slash in there for the date. If you just wanted the next available date, you type the word next, just like I did. And it's going to say, okay, just to review, on Friday the 8th, you're scheduling a conference inspection on this BU at this address. Do you want to leave comments for the inspector, or do you need to change any of this stuff, right? The comments for the inspector, that's where you're going to put in anything like your gate code, 3rd floor, east wing, building 12, beware of dog. Whatever you got in there that you want to leave for the inspector, you leave those comments, you say yes, and then it's going to ask you what comments. Those comments immediately go to the inspector whenever you finish your inspection request. I typed no, and it said, all right, it's now scheduled. Here's your confirmation number. Then it says, would you like to be notified of automatic results notifications? I said, yes, opt me in, right? That's only for this exact inspection. That's not for the whole record. That's not for the whole license. That's not for the whole address. Just this inspection, okay? Now, anybody whoever sends that text message, they're the ones who's going to get the automatic notification, right? So the notification process we have for inspection set up currently that emails you and texts you now, that's set up to grab, again, all those email addresses that we talked about earlier. Your contact, your homeowner, your licensed professional. This is going to text whoever created this inspection via text message, okay? So if your subcontractor used your cell phone number to create this inspection, they're the ones who are going to get the notification. As you see here, it asks, would you like to add anybody else to receive these automatic inspections? So if it is you, you're like, hey, I might not be there. Let me throw my sub on there. And I got an alternate sub too. Let me throw them on there. This is where you do that. It's going to let you add up to 3 other phone numbers to get an automatic results on this inspection. Okay. So it doesn't just go to you. You don't have to forward it to your employees. You can immediately add them like, yep, I want you to get the notification. If you're working for a homeowner and you want to throw the homeowner on there, that's up to you. You can. After you've done that, after you added somebody or decided not to add anybody, you hit done. It's going to tell you, hey, enter another inspection, or would you like to do anything else, or basically, are you done? And if you're done, you hit end. Right. So again, 8 text messages for me to get this done. Took me about 90 seconds, and I scheduled an inspection. You can do that from inside a crawl space if you really want to. If you're inside your truck and you realize, hey, I got a failed inspection, let me go ahead and reschedule it. You can do it through text message, pull over to the side of the road, knock one out in, again, 90 seconds. In the drive-through at Hardee's, you can schedule an inspection. Any questions on how to schedule?
You have to put in, be able to, for it to actually go through, or as soon as it says it's scheduled, it's scheduled.
So you see the confirmation number. For those of you on Teams who didn't hear, is the question was, do you have to hit end for it to be done? When you get this confirmation number right here, it's scheduled. It's done. You could stop texting this thing at that point in time, and it's going to time out after approximately 3 minutes. About 3 minutes later, it's just going to say, hey, your session has ended due to inactivity. Would you like to do any, if you need to do anything else, hit schedule, cancel, results, whatever the case.
Okay.
So once you have that confirmation number, you're done. This other stuff is just if you want somebody to get notified automatically, if you want to add another number, and then I ended it there.
But if you don't continue, it won't notify you.
That is correct. If you stop right here at your confirmation number,
Correct.
and you're inactive for 3 minutes, it will not notify you because you didn't say that you wanted to opt in. The cancel and inspection is significantly faster. You type the word cancel, it's going to ask you again for that permit number. Same process. If you don't know your permit number, you got to go look up. If your phone number is not allowed to schedule or cancel the results, it's going to tell you. You type that in, validates your address. You type the 3-digit code that you want to cancel, and it's going to say, all right, you're canceling this. I'm sorry, it's going to say, hey, it's the one that's scheduled for, that was a Monday. Do you want to cancel it or reschedule it, or do you want to leave it? I said, I wanted to cancel it, and it says, all right, here's your confirmation number. It's been canceled. I typed in to end the session, and I'm done. That took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 text messages. And again, that took me probably 30 seconds to do, and it cancels your inspection. The issues that you could possibly run into, just like the last one, if you don't know the list of codes, you type list and it's going to give it to you. If you're not associated to that specific permit, it's going to tell you that you're not, and it's going to tell you to add somebody. But other than that, that's how you cancel one. If our system went down at all, would this still go through basically? Or would we get a hang up through the cell phone service? And the answer is basically it's based off your cell phone signal. Again, if you have cell service, this is going to work because a cell is a web-based process on the internet. Any questions in person? Any questions on Teams for rescheduling? Okay, so let's say you wanted to get results of previous inspections, right? Very, very quick process. You type results. It says, all right, what permit number? You give the permit number that you want results for. What it's going to do is it's going to give you the last 5 results, or the most current 5 results from the last 5 inspections. Okay? It very simple information. It's going to tell you, hey, that conference was canceled. Or right here, you see that 121 slabs, that 121 or that 105, that's the 3-digit code that's associated to that type of an inspection. It's going to say it was passed, canceled, rescheduled, whatever the case. It's going to say, if that's not the one you're looking for, basically enter next to see the next 5 results, or done if you're done. I said next because I was still hunting for a different one. You see how it shows me 5 here, and it shows me 5 on the next text message. It'll show you up to 20. If you're doing a job that has more than 20 inspections, and you're looking for inspection number 1, then you're going to need to go online. This will only show you a maximum of 20. So you can hit next 3 times and it will show you 20 inspections. If that's all the information that you need and you're done, you hit end and you're finished. Let's say you had one that failed. You had an inspection that failed and you wanted to say, hey, subcontractor, this thing failed and I want you to explain to me why. On this right here, you see this 114 framing. It failed on the 27th. I said, okay. I hit 1 because it's the number 1 up there, right? You see the number 1 beside it on the list of 5. Type 1, and it says down here, hey, that was failed on the 27th. The inspector was Derek Lytle. The notes are you did this wrong. The longer the notes are all going to show up, right? Whatever technical notes that inspector puts because they're smarter than me, it'll explain to you right there, hey, it failed because of this. You want to forward this text message to your subcontractors or your other employees. Say, hey, I know it failed and this is why. Tighten up. Whatever you want to do, it shows it to you right there. It'll get everything that you can see online right here in text message. If you added somebody to get automatic results notifications, would they also get this or would you have to forward it? That answer, sir, is you would have to forward this. So the automatic results is for pass, fail, complete, partial pass, all those results that happens on a scheduled inspection, they would get the automatic notification of those results. You're looking up previous results that already happened. So if you wanted to send this to somebody, you have to forward it. They won't automatically get this. Now, if they're associated to that permit, they can do the same process. Anybody if it's your license and your subcontractor, you put them on there permanently or you put them on there temporarily for just this permit, they have the ability to go on text message and say, hey, results, this be you. And they can look up those results and why. If they're not associated to it, they can use your cell phone number to validate, and then they can look up why. So here's the lookup process. Let's say you absolutely do not know your permit number. You don't have access to a cell citizen's access. And you don't want to call the front office here and you want to look up what information, or you want to look up your permit number, basically. You type the word lookup, and I messed up here. I want to show you that the system kind of still catches things even if you mess it up. It's going to say, hey, what's the house number or what's the building number? For example, if it's 1234 Main Street, just type 1234. I typed the whole thing. I said 123 South Main Street. And it says, okay, dummy, I know you meant 123. It says, all right, what's the street name? So you type in just Main. So ideally, I would have typed 123, then Main. Then it says, hey, is there an apartment number or building number? Nope. So just hit next. After you hit next, it's going to say, hey, there was one address found that matches this. 123 South Main Street. Some of our addresses in Cabarrus County are a little difficult, right? Such as, was it 2427, Highway 2427, Highway 601? Some of those get a little complicated. We've tested it to where it works. Sometimes you have to figure a couple of things. You got to test it a couple of times, but we've got it to where it works. You say, hey, yep, number 1, enter 1 to continue. Yep, that's the address I was talking about. All right, you selected 123. Would you like to search for permits? If yes, type yes. If you're done, or back to change anything. I said, yep. Well, there's only one. That permit number is yours for this address, or that's the only permit we have for that address. It follows the same logic as results. It's going to show you the most recent 5. All right. If you don't see it, you type next and it'll show you the next 5 up to 20, just like with results. Okay. If that's the one you were looking for and you say, yep, number 1. Okay, cool. Come over here. I entered 1. It says, all right, you've selected BU number 18. Do you want to schedule, cancel results? What do you want to do with it? If you're done, if you said, I just needed my record number. Now I have my permit number, then I'm done. I hit end. If you wanted to immediately go into, oh, I want to schedule something for it, then you type schedule there and back 3 slides. You follow the same process for scheduling, canceling, rescheduling. That makes sense? Any questions on how to look up some permit information if you don't know your permit number? Any questions on Teams? So here's the Express side. The Express side again is a little faster. Okay. If you're counting text messages here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I cut 4 text messages out. Right. It can get it, and again, this is going to be whenever you've used the system enough. If you have the trifold in front of you, you can express it and basically skip those first handful of text messages. I typed S because I want to schedule my permit number. I know the 3-digit code and I know the day I want it done. I typed all that in 1 and it says, hey, yeah, give me a minute, right? It takes just a second for the system to kind of catch up to that. But it says, hey, you want to schedule a conference on this record on this day for this address. Is that correct? And it picks up right where you left off is if you were scheduling. Do you want to leave comments? Yes or no? Nope, no comments. I'm good. All right. Here's your confirmation number. Would you like to be notified? Yes, I want to be notified. I don't want to add anybody else, so I hit done. And I don't need to do anything else, so I hit end. I've just scheduled an inspection in 4 text messages, and it took me 30 seconds with the Express version. And that Express version, again, is on the trifold that we're going to hand out every chance possible. And I'm about to show you exactly where you can find that trifold online as well. Any questions? And oh, sorry. And again, remember, the only difference, and the trifold is going to show it, is if you wanted to cancel, reschedule, or check results, instead of the S, you type R for results, C for cancel, or reschedule for reschedule. Any questions on the Express? Any questions on Teams? One of the last things that I wanted to cover, possible things that you could run into, man, just like you were bringing up, possible things that you could run into whenever you're trying to do this and you get small little headaches or it's not working exactly like I showed you on the slideshow. So one of the things, and we already covered this, but just to rehash, if your phone number is not on that permit, you can get it permanently added by using that user authorization form that you send in here to Construction Standards, or you can get it added just for that specific permit, or you also use the number for your contractor or your licensed professional who is on that record. That helps you get by the system, right? So if you get that immediate response of, hey, you're not allowed to schedule inspections, those are the 3 ways to fix it. Get permanently added, get added just for this one, or use the phone number of someone who is. If you have an incorrect permit number, so let's say it says, hey, enter your permit number, and you type in either the wrong one or you type it in wrong, it's going to tell you, hey, that's an incorrect permit number. Please type in your permit, right? If you type in the wrong phone number, so let's say you're not associated to it, but your professional is, you type in your professional's phone number and that's wrong, it's going to tell you the exact same message all over again. Hey, that's an incorrect phone number. That phone number is not allowed to schedule inspections. please type in a phone number that is allowed to schedule inspections. If you have an incorrect 3-digit code, if you didn't use list and you said, hey, give me a 106 because you thought that was right. And it's going to come up with, hey, you're scheduling whatever it could be. It's slab. It's not actually slab. Don't get confused. But if you're scheduling, it's going to say, hey, you're scheduling this. And it gets you to that point where it says, to basically right before your confirmation number, it says, if this is correct, continue, add. If you want to edit any details, hit back. You hit back to change it, right? If you type in a number that doesn't exist altogether, if you type in 999, it's going to tell you that is an incorrect, it's going to say that is an incorrect 3-digit code. Please type in the 3-digit code if yours doesn't exist. All right. If you misspell some words it's going to pick up on. All right. The system's not, it's a computer. Just remember that, right? So if you misspell things, sometimes it won't work properly. If you spell it correctly, it will, right? And then inactivity, I went over this, but if you're inactive for 3 minutes, it's going to immediately end your session. Now, as long as you've gotten past that confirmation part where it gave you a confirmation number, that inspection scheduled, right? But if you just typed in your permit number and you haven't actually chose what you want to do and you haven't gotten to that confirmation number part and you go inactive for 3 minutes, like you were trying to do in a drive-through, you got to step 1 and 2, and then you stopped because you got to the window. It's going to say, hey, you've been logged out due to inactivity. Then you got to start all over. Okay. If you don't have a confirmation number, it didn't happen yet. That makes sense? Do I have, before I show you our website and where to get to the trifold, the business card, and the poster, do I have any questions on anything that I've covered so far? Yes, sir.
So when it comes to related permits, so if I've got my new residential permit number, anything that's under that, so my plumbing, electrical, anything like that, is that correlated to what my permit number is? If it's related, so can I schedule my electrical text, I mean, without having to, find the office's number who is on their permit or whatever? Or do I have to know all of their numbers and enter that?
So the question was, if I'm the professional on the building permit, can I also schedule inspections on the trade permits that are related to this building permit? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the answer is yes, you can, but not by just knowing that building permit number. Okay, so if it asks you what's your permit number and you say BU whatever, you're only scheduling, canceling, or resulting inspections on that specific permit, right?
Correct.
So you have to type. So when it asks what is your permit number,
Yes.
you have to type in that trade.
And that's, so if I put in EL, whatever, 2022, everything else, but is our number, if it's on our permit, is that go directly to the related permits as well?
Your cell phone number
Yes, sir.
is okay. If you're the applicant and Our Lady's cloned your trades from that, then yes. If you applied for a trade permit just by itself without doing a building permit, then whatever professional is on that, whatever applicant contact is on that, those numbers, it's gonna verify that those numbers are allowed to. And if you're not, let's say if you're the building professional, we put your building professional, correct me if I'm wrong, Anissa, we put the building professional on all 3 of the trades underneath it. So the building professional will be allowed to. If you're the electrician, you're not going to be able to schedule inspections on the building permit. You're not going to be able to schedule inspections on the plumbing or the mechanical, right? Does that make sense? Unless your number is added to that for a specific reason. But as long as your number is associated to that permit, you schedule, or you can do any of these things.
Sir, how about if, on the seller and things, a lot of times we'll go ahead and schedule inspections, and in the day of inspection, you can look up and see if they're pending. Do we have that ability with the SelecTXT
Oh, to see the status of an inspection?
to see if it's even, just because you scheduled it yesterday for today? If I looked up to it today, the permit number, would it show pending? And what I'm looking for is if there's a notification, sort of like a seller, lets you know that the inspection has been assigned to a particular inspector. Will you get that notice on a SelecTXT as well?
Okay. For teams, the question was, can I look up same-day inspections and see the status of a same-day inspection, such as, is it pending? Is it still scheduled? who the inspector is and so on and so forth, like it does online, or like it does through the inspection process or the notifications process that we previously set up. So if you look up an inspection, if you want to look up the results of an inspection that you scheduled last night, right? So you scheduled that conference inspection for tomorrow. Tomorrow comes and you want to say, hey, did I finish it? Did I do it right? Are they coming today? I haven't seen them yet. If you do the results feature, right? You type in results, you type in your permit number, and it's going to give you the last 5 results. That top result should say 105 conference scheduled.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's the only information that you can look up for a same day inspection
On SelecTXT.
on SelecTXT. Correct. Now, if you got the previous notifications, the emails and the text messages that we previously set up, like you said, they show who your inspector is.
Right.
They show all that stuff. Now, I'm going to go back a couple of slides. Now, right here.
Yep.
Let's say, I know all these say canceled, but let's say one of them said scheduled, right? And if you typed the number 1 on the scheduled one, down here, the details, it's going to show you the same details,
Okay.
right? So it's going to show you, hey, this is scheduled for this date. Your inspector's this.
Okay.
Your notes, those are your notes, not your inspector's notes.
Right.
It'll show you those notes.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you gotta go through and just look at results and then go for the prompt number 1.
That shows scheduled. Yep, whichever one you
And then
scheduled.
it'll prop up that screen.
Correct. Yes, sir.
All right, that works.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it does not. The up next notification that you, for Teams, the question was the process that we have, the up next notification, does this come through this text messaging system? The answer is no. So the up next notification that we previously set up is separate from this. So that grabs any email address and phone number on that record and it sends it to anybody who's on there. But since you didn't schedule that, inspection through the text messaging system, you're not going to get a result on the text messaging system. The automatic results that you get on here are only if you schedule the inspection on here. Does that make sense?
So you won't get any emails. If you do it on text, you won't get any emails saying that it's scheduled or anything like that, correct?
Good question. The question was, if you do it through text, will you still get the other ones that we previously set up? Don't let me misspeak. If you do it through this system, if you do it through SelecTXT and you text it and you ask for results notifications, you're going to get the results on text message here. And if you're set up for the previous ones, you'll still get the previous ones. If you do it through online or over the phone, you'll get it through the previous ones. You will not get it on text message. Make sense?
Right.
Okay. All right. I said that right.
But even if I schedule it through text, they're not gonna tell me I'm next. That's what I was trying to figure out.
So if you would have to use the result side. So let's say the question was, how can I find out up next through text message? And that's this process right here. So if you got up next previously, like through the original system, if you needed to look it up here and you said, hey, results, permit number, this permit number, and you see number 1 up next right there.
Okay.
You can click on 1 or you can type 1 and say, hey, yep, that one. I want to know the details of that one. And it'll tell you the details right here on this next slide. So if the inspector has clicked up next, I'm on the way, you'll get a notification through the old system. And if you want to look it up here, you can. But that old system is going to provide you all the same information, right?
So to clear that up, you're still gonna get a notification. But the inspector, once they hit up next, that automatically tells the system to send you the up next independent of this.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions in person on anything that I've covered so far? Are there any questions from anyone on Teams about anything that I've covered so far?
Mr. Derek, is this course gonna be online since it's being recorded?
The question was, is this class going to be online since it's being recorded? Yes, sir. We're not quite sure where we're going to post it online, but what I'll do is, just like I sent out a mass notification to everybody for this class, I'm going to send out a mass notification with exactly where we posted this class online since it's being recorded. Does that answer your question, sir?
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Any other questions on Teams? So the last thing I want to show you here at the end of this slideshow is this link. This link takes you immediately to the construction standards page on the county website. If you want to get there the original way, if you just Google Cabarrus County and you go to the county website right here, this is the homepage, correct? If you're on the homepage and you go to property, building, and development, and you go down to building, it's going to take you to the construction standards webpage. On this webpage right now, and this is live, right now we have the following information down here. How to schedule inspections by SelecTXT. This is the this is the poster that we have telling you, hey, here's the phone number. Here's the 5 things that you can do to text to the phone number. Okay. The other thing that we have, how to schedule, reschedule, cancel, check inspections. These are the business cards that we're going to be handing out along with the trifolds and the posters that we're putting up, right? Again, short explanation of what you can do and how you do it. And then the last thing, inspection scheduling instructions. This right here is the trifold that some of you have in hand right now. On the left-hand side, it shows you the express commands on the front page. And then on page 2, it shows you, hey, these are the 5 things that you can do, the phone number that you send it to, and here are the 3-digit codes for all of your possibilities, right? So commercial only has this list. Now, again, this full list doesn't apply to every commercial permit. But if you're doing a commercial permit, it's going to be one off of this list. Your electrical, mechanical, plumbing are all over here, along with the special ones down here, and your residential over here, just under commercial. So you have all of your 3-digit codes for any process that you want to do through SelecTXT. All of this available on the county website right now. Any questions on how to get to that information or those resources? Any questions on Teams whatsoever? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording on Teams.